All right, guys, we are back, and we're starting our fourth segment here. Who I believe is the Conn Smythe winner for each team. This is what the trophy looks like for those of you that don't know. This is the trophy that gets handed out to the basically Finals MVP. If you're thinking about like NBA terms or the NFL, Super Bowl MVP, it's the same. But this is a playoff long award, unlike the Super Bowl MVP, who it just kind of goes to the best player in that game. That's how you see Julian Edelman getting a Super Bowl MVP. That's not the case in the NHL. It's not the case in hockey. It's whoever is the best player for the team for the entire playoffs. So I'm just gonna get right into this. For the New York Rangers, I believe it's Igor Shesterkin right now. I think it has to be Igor Shesterkin right now. He's completely shutting the door on a lot of offensives. He's forcing teams to be creative with how they need to score goals, and that's such a hard thing to beat. You have a 2.33 goals against average. He is saving 92.4%, he has a .924 save percentage. So he's saving 92.4% of every shot that is taken onto him. He's been absolutely unbelievable, shutting the door completely on any opposing offense. And then I have an honorable mention. Mika Zibanejad is my honorable mention for the New York Rangers. He's the highest scoring forward. 10 assists, 3 goals in these playoffs. He was unbelievable in the first 2 games that they won in this series. So, yeah, Mika Zibanejad, honorable mention here. Carolina Hurricanes, I have it being Sebastian Aho. He's been their entire offense. He leads the team in scoring with 10 points in 10 games played. He's been unbelievable. He's the reason that Jake Gensel is being set up so well. He's the reason, you have Andrei Svechnikov having a pretty good playoffs because of him. Brady Shea having a really good playoff because of Sebastian Aho, in my opinion. And then honorable mention for the Carolina Hurricanes, it's Brady Shea. And I could honestly see an argument for Brady Shea to be the to get the Conn Smythe for the Carolina Hurricanes. He has 9 assists as a defenseman. He's also been very good defensively from the last 2 games that the Carolina Hurricanes have won. I had a little bit of questions when it came to Brady Shea's defense from the first 3 games here, because I just saw so many New York Rangers players just alone in the slot here, and that was not the case in the last 2 games. It's been very impressive for Brady Shea. So he is an honorable mention, but I think it's got to go to Sebastian Aho. He's stealing games, man. He is an unbelievable talent. For the Boston Bruins, if they were to win the Stanley Cup, I think you have to give it to Jeremy Swayman, and I think you can only give it to Jeremy Swayman on the Boston Bruins. Nobody else is stepping up on this team. It's not David Pastrnak. It's not Charlie McAvoy. It's absolutely Jeremy Swayman, who is playing just completely lights out right now in these playoffs. A 2.16 goals against average. He has a 93.4 save percentage. He stole 2 to 3 games in the Maple Leaf series, and then he stole Game 5 against the Panthers. He's been unbelievable. I talked about it on an earlier podcast. I've heard this saying from Joel Klatt, a famous college football commentator for Fox. You can't go broke taking a profit. And the first time I heard him talk about that was when he used it in reference to the Michigan offense last year, when Sherrod Moore came in for that Penn State game. And you have J.J. McCarthy, but you're going to keep going to that Donovan Edwards or that Blake Cornwell, because those are your running backs, and they have been unbelievable, especially at being able to, 3 yards in a cloud of dust was that Michigan offense. And that's I can kind of relate that to Jeremy Swayman's performance. You have Linus Ullmark, who is an unbelievable goaltender, but he's forcing you to continue to go to Jeremy Swayman, and he's forcing you to keep putting his name top of that team sheet. And these 2 guys are best friends outside of the game. These 2 guys love each other. I will pull up the picture. I have it right here. I mean, this is what they do after every game here. After every win, they do this. They love each other. Jeremy Swayman is not hard, or Linus Ullmark is not hard done by what Jeremy Swayman is able to do. But yeah, he's been unbelievable. He's stolen the Boston Bruins so many games in these playoffs. If it was just an outright MVP for any player, not just like a Stanley Cup winning player, you can make an argument that it could go to Jeremy Swayman no matter what. He's been that great. But as far as the Florida Panthers go, the Bruins' kind of nemesis right now, I would say it goes to Alexander Barkov. And it's a little bit toss-up of two forwards. I wouldn't be mad either way. I think Alexander Barkov brings a little bit better defensive mindset, and he also has one more goal than Matthew Tkachuk. 13 points for Alexander Barkov, 5 goals, 8 assists for Matthew Tkachuk. He also has 13 points, but he has 4 goals, 9 assists. So I kind of used one more goal for Matthew Tkachuk, one less assist, of course, but I think he's a little bit better defensively. And Matthew Tkachuk can definitely win this Conn Smythe. And maybe Bobrovsky, but he doesn't have great numbers, is why I didn't go for Sergei Bobrovsky for the Florida Panthers. Colorado Avalanche, I have it being... this was by far the hardest one. Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, and Nathan MacKinnon all have 12 points. They all have 3 goals, and they all have 9 assists. How am I supposed to separate that? Here's what I did. I went with Cale Makar. He's the defenseman. I love Cale Makar as a player. I think he is such a fun talent to watch. So, I mean, it might be a little bit of bias here, but I think I'm going to go with Cale Makar because he's that defenseman, and he's able to bring that into his game as well. Maybe Nathan MacKinnon should deserve it because he's been really driving a lot of these goals that the Avalanche are scoring. But I'm going to go with Cale Makar with the Avalanche. As far as the Dallas Stars are concerned, I would say it's Miro Heiskanen. He has 4 goals and 8 assists from the point. He's come alive in this series specifically against the Colorado Avalanche, really stealing a lot of games. The Colorado Avalanche scored 2 early in the third period. It is now 4-2 in that game. We'll talk more about that in the next segment. That's looking like a Game 6 there. But yeah, I think it's Miro Heiskanen, and I think you could definitely make a really convincing argument if Miro Heiskanen isn't having as great of a series as he is, and this might be a little bit of recency bias for me. Jake Oettinger, he has the best stats of any goaltender in the playoffs with a 202 goals against average. That is the lowest goals against average of any active goalie in the playoffs right now. He has a 923 save percentage, which is not as high as... Actually, I'm a little bit curious. It is not as high as Jeremy Swayman's, and it's a 1,000th of a point less than Igor Shesterkin, but with giving up, a tenth of a less goal per game than either of those goaltenders. So I think Jake Oettinger could have a very realistic argument about being the best goaltender in the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind if you wanted to give it to him, but I went with Miro Heiskanen. I think he's playing unbelievable in this series specifically and really helping the Dallas Stars win that Game 3 and that Game 4 on the road. The Vancouver Canucks, my next team, my penultimate team here in these rankings, I went with Brock Besser. 12 points in 10 games played. He has 7 goals and 5 assists. He won them game 3 by just getting out to that unbelievable start in the first period. And he's been amazing in this Edmonton series specifically. I kind of called on him before the series. Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson needed to get things going. One of them did. Brock Besser definitely has gotten things going. Elias Pettersson a little, still not being able to get going in these playoffs. That concerns me for the Vancouver Canucks. That's why I think that the Edmonton Oilers are going to win this game because that's your first-line center. That's still not going for them. Honorable mention is JT Miller. 2 goals, 9 assists in 10 games played. He's been great. Brock Besser with 1 more point and 5 more goals. So that's why I went Brock Besser for the Vancouver Canucks. I don't think you can give it to Artur Shilovs, although, man, what a story that kid is. 23 years old, absolutely stepping up for the Vancouver Canucks in these playoffs. The last team here, the Edmonton Oilers. And this one was brutal. This one might have been even more brutal than the Colorado Avalanche one. Leon Draisaitl has 20 points in 9 games played. He is playing NHL career mode on rookie mode. He's insane. Connor McDavid, 18 points in 9 games played. He is playing NHL career mode on rookie mode. Evan Bouchard, he's a defenseman with 15 points in 9 games played. So this one was very difficult. You have 18 points for McDavid, 20 points for Draisaitl, 15 points for Bouchard. I'm going to go with Draisaitl, most points on the team here, but I could hear an argument for all of those guys. Connor McDavid, absolutely just driving this offense with 16 assists. He almost has 2 assists per game. That's insane. That is insane. I'm actually curious to know how many of those Draisaitl goals did not come from Connor McDavid's sticks passing it to him. I don't think it's that many. So yeah, I could hear an argument for Connor McDavid, and then Evan Bouchard is an absolute cannon from the point on the power play, and I could definitely hear an argument for that guy. But I'm gonna go with Leon Draisaitl. 8 goals, nearly a goal a game. He's over 2 points per game in these playoffs. He's winning 55% of his faceoffs. He's been great. And that's going to do it for the Conn Smythe talk. When I come back, we will be talking about the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche.